Hello, 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 you gorgeous human beings. It is me, Susie Ashworth, Sunday Times best-selling author of the book Infinite Receiving, and I wanted to come on and talk with you about something that I know is costing new business owners and new coaches a shed load of time and a shed load of money. And I really want you to hear me when I say this. And what's interesting is I was listening to a podcast with Chris Williamson and Stephen Bartlett on the Diary of a CEO, and they were talking about how to achieve goals and why sometimes when we're setting goals, we set the wrong things. And Chris was talking about something called unteachable lessons. And I really, really loved this concept. I was really able to relate to it. And it's that sense of, even though there are thousands and thousands of people and many great texts that talk us through fundamental universal truths, until you have lived the lesson in your physical experience, we will not believe what people are telling us. And the most easy example is the idea of, I'll be happy when I've made 7 figures in my business. And the reason that my family life isn't great, and the reason that my relationships aren't great, and the reason why I have to work so hard is because I need to make this million. And once I make this million, then all of the things that make me sad and emotional and stressed, all of those things will have disappeared. Now, if you are watching me, I am sure that you're not looking at things as black and white as that. And yet, so many times we will or won't take action based on the idea that when you have achieved X, Y, and Z, or ticked off X, Y, and Z boxes, then you will be able to. And I was sat last night chatting with my son who's 14, and of course as kids we have it completely upside down, and we think that we can do everything and everything's really easy, and like, why are you overcomplicating it? And of course I'm just going to buy some land in Thailand and I'm going to save up 30 grand before I'm 18, and I'm going to hire a lawyer, and the lawyer's going to make it so that I can get some land, and then I'm going to flip cars, and then I'm going to do this and this. And as I was listening to his boyish, childish enthusiasm, whilst he was asking me my opinion, and when I tried to give my opinion, he would just bat me down. In the end, I just said, look, the way that you are thinking is bang on the money. Do I think that this vehicle is the vehicle that's going to get you to where you want to? Probably not, but the way that you're thinking is really, really great. It didn't, outside of that, it didn't really matter what I said, because he wasn't going to listen. The only way that he is going to learn that that plan is not the best plan is to go and live his life and go and do that. And there is something so charming about that, like that level of, yeah, I can do it. And I think what's interesting is that 12 years ago when I started my business, I felt so much of that energy around me. And of course, that was reflective of my energy too. And I think that what has kept me going over all of these years is that energy, whilst it's matured, I still have those big dreams. I am still going for it. What is true, and what I notice about many of the women especially who are coming into my world now, so women who are over the age of 40, probably have 2 or 3 kids themselves, have maybe never been in business before, or maybe tried something a long time ago, it didn't quite work out, they went down the corporate route, and now they're kind of thinking about, like, is this it? Am I going to stay doing this for the rest of my life, or am I going to do something else? I kind of think I want to do something else. I think something else would be pretty cool. But can I do it? Am I right? Have I got enough experience? Have I got this? Have I got that? Have I got this? And I think when I look back at how I was when I started my business, like once I started, I got going and I was great. But, and this is something that I don't usually share with many people, it took me 3 years to get going. I decided 3 years before I actually set up my business that I was going to go into business. And this is the unteachable lesson. Like, I so wish that when I had the idea, I stumbled across a video like this, or I had at least one other person in my world that had set up their own business who I could go and speak to. Because at that time, I didn't know anybody who had their own business, which is also wild to me. But I didn't know a single person that ran their own business. And that cost me. It cost me because in that 3-year period, the reason that I didn't start is that I was waiting for the right time. And I know that so many of the women who come into my world are waiting for the right time. And whilst they're waiting, more and more years are passing. It's not uncommon when I say to somebody, was there a moment that you knew in your life that you were destined, like it was your purpose to help other people, to have an impact on their lives? Everybody always says, yep, there was a moment. And I'm like, when was that moment? And they were like, when I was 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Now, here's the truth. When I started my business, my first year in business, I made minus £14,000. You say a little bit louder for the people at the back. Minus £14,000. And this is not because I didn't make any sales. I was making sales, but I also invested heavily in that first year. And to the outside world, that was silly. I didn't know what I was doing. It obviously wasn't working. I was making less money than I had earned, and I ended up in the red. Like, perhaps this was not a smart decision. You know, over 8 figures later, I would say it was a bloody great decision, but at the time, it felt very, very scary. My second year in business, I made £126,000. Why? Because what appeared to not be working in year 1 was me planting seeds, was me learning my craft, was me learning my skill set, was me putting together offers, me kind of testing things, them not working out so well, and then me going again, and me failing, and me dusting myself off and picking myself up, and me watering the seeds, toiling the soil, like doing the work, so that by the time I got to year 2, I had a small community of people that were interested in the offers that I was creating, and then wanting to buy the offers that I was creating. And in that second year, I made over 6 figures. Now, when I look at that trajectory, it's amazing. I'm not complaining. And what if I'd have just started 2 years earlier, 1 year earlier? What if when I made the decision that I was going to set up my business, instead of fannying around for 3 years, I actually picked a course, signed up and went for it. Why did it take me 3 years to decide on my hypnotherapy and psychotherapy diploma? It didn't take me 3 years. It took me 3 years to get over myself. It didn't need to. And when I look at that, I think, God, that cost me £100,000. Minimum. That cost me 6 figures minimum fannying around for 3 years. This is the unteachable lesson that I want you to hear from me. Ready is a lie. The first time I heard that, I was listening to a woman called Angie Lee, and I think that she got it tattooed on her arm. That tattoo is etched on my memory. Ready is a lie. You are never going to be ready. You are never going to have the perfect time. The reason that I did it in the end is that I just thought, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. I was on maternity leave and I would need to make a decision by the time I was supposed to finish my maternity leave. So if I didn't go and study when I studied, my daughter was 1 month old, not recommending that, but if I didn't go and study then, I would have got to the end of my maternity leave and I would have been the same. I would have been the same human being with the same skill set. And that didn't feel like a skill set that was going to support me in building my business. Now, again, you don't know what you don't know. The skill set I had was absolutely superb for building a business, but I wasn't going to become a sales consultant. That wasn't in my mind at that time. I felt that I needed a specific qualification and then I could set my business up around that qualification. So I signed up to get a diploma in hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. And what I understood was that if I did not complete this diploma by the time I got to the end of my maternity leave, then I would have no choice but have to go back to work and earn less than what I needed to a month to pay for the childcare for 2 children. So it was do or die. It was like jump. It was like sink or swim. And so I decided to jump and swim. It was the best decision that I ever made. And I have very few regrets other than, God, she started at least a year earlier. And by not starting at least a year earlier, it cost me £100,000. So many incredible women are not going to start businesses this year because they are waiting for the right time. Ready is a lie. Your time is now because you say your time is now. And when you say your time is now, everything around you will fall into place. And even as it falls into place, sometimes it will feel chaotic, and that's okay. It's part of the journey. It will make you a more compassionate coach as you are there to hold the space for women and clients who are going to be making their equivalent of the same jump and have chaos around them. And you know that through the coaching that you support them with, you're going to help them increase their capacity to deal with everything that is presented to them. That has to be your story first. Please don't wait. The way that the coaching industry is growing and evolving, you give yourself an unfair advantage if you start now. The best time for you to have started is yesterday. The second best time for you to start is now. So please, 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 for the love of God, don't do what I did and sit on it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. If you've decided that you want to make this your future, start now, because in 5 years' time we're going to be looking at a whole different market. And if you've got 5 years worth of experience and understand how to support people in a world-class way, you are going to be thanking me so freaking much. So please don't wait. Let's get going. Let's do this thing right now. Please, for the love of all things good, remember that when you put faith and action together, miracles happen. Got it tattooed on my wrist.